It's time for Tiger Tip-Off. Watch today's games on the County 10 YouTube channel or catch radio coverage on KOBE 1330 AM and 107.7 FM.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Friday before Christmas. Welcome back inside Lander Valley High School for coverage of the second basketball tournament hosted here in Lander for teams all around the region in as many weekends. The Lander Classic just about ready to get underway or continue on as girls' games have been going on throughout this Friday. For the Lady Tigers' first matchup of the tournament, though, the Douglas Bearcats. I'm Scott Fuller, and this is the Porter's Tailgate Show brought to you by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton, your one-stop shop for grills, spas, stoves, pellets, and more. Porter's is a proud supporter of Fremont County athletes. Tonight's another strong test for the Lander ladies to open up their final part of the first stretch of games. How's that? They'll play 3 over the next 2 days prior to the Christmas break. The Douglas Lady Bearcats are 3-0 on the season after their opening weekend. Lander performing very well prior to Christmas as well. Lady Tigers found 3 victories in their season opening tournament right here at home last weekend, and their lone loss in Lander in the invite last weekend coming to Powell in the final game of the tournament. So Lander with a 3-1 mark on the 2024-25 season to date, facing a 3-0 Douglas team. In their most recent game, only loss of the season for Lander last Saturday, Tigers were led by Daisy Goklish and the sophomore co-point guard's 24-point performance. No other Lander players scored in double digits. It was an unusually cold shooting start for Hayden Goggles in that game. Goggles going scoreless in the first half. She did score 7 points in the second half. That Powell loss was close throughout, though. Lander only managed 1 lead in that game during the second half, and that came and went pretty quickly. The Lander ladies trailing to the Panthers, who managed to pull away down the stretch in their 47-40 victory last weekend. Douglas's 3 wins on the season came last weekend at Century High School. That's a high school out of Bismarck, North Dakota. Final score there, 54-28. Thunder Basin out of Gillette, 60-24 Douglas victory in Game 2. And Campbell County, also out of Gillette, 64-53 the final there. So following a state tournament appearance last season, the Lady Bearcats have outscored their opponents by a combined 178-105 to open up the season. Ladies to keep an eye on for this Douglas team, there are a bunch. Rosters a total of 7 seniors to Lander's 2. Bailey Wright wearing number 3 for Douglas, Kale Starkey, and Andrea Lepe wears number 10, Jaden Meyer number 20, Molly Parker, Macy Engel. Some or all of those players likely to have a positive impact for Douglas on the Lady Bearcats game tonight. But it's a good test for the Lander Lady Tigers. 3-1 on the year to Douglas's 3-0. Douglas coming off a state tournament appearance, and when we come back, we'll hear from LVHS girls head coach Drew Powell ahead of Lander and Douglas in just a few moments next on the Porter's Tailgate Show on 1330 KOVE and online at county10.com.
We are Maven. We focus on the fundamentals, clean, simple designs with the very best modern materials and technologies. We refuse to compromise our mountain town roots to follow the well-worn path to $1. We choose instead to make game-changing gear and use it in the places and pursuits that inspire us every day. We are Maven, a company focused on the design and creation of innovative products for and by the modern outdoorsman.
At Redden Kane & Associates CPAs, we serve clients across Fremont County and beyond with top-tier accounting services. From individual taxes to business consulting, our creative and precise team offers tax management, estate planning, and more. You'll find us engaged and meticulous to ensure each client gets personalized guidance. Visit rivertoncpa.com to learn more about our services and how we can help you achieve financial success.
Your home for Lander Tiger basketball all season long. KOVE Radio, 1330 AM and 107.7 FM.
Welcome back to Lander Valley High School. The Lander Classic underway while the Lander boys are in Douglas tonight. The ladies are hosting their own tournament with a plethora of regional teams in town. Lander won't have an opportunity this weekend to play all of those visiting teams before the Christmas break, but there is some good girls basketball in the building here tonight. Perhaps at the top of that list again this year. We'll see how the season plays out. But the Douglas Lady Bearcats are the Lander ladies' first opponents here on a Friday evening. Scott Fuller back with you on the Porter's Tailgate Show on 1330 KOVE and County10.com. Brought to you by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton, your one-stop shop for grills, spas, stoves, pellets, and more. Porter's, a proud supporter of Fremont County athletes. Lander has lost only one game on the year. It came at the very end of their Lander Classic tournament that took place right here at LVHS last weekend. We caught up with head coach Drew Powell, LVHS girls head coach, following his team's 3-1 start and his team's only loss on the year. Here's how that conversation went last weekend. And, Coach, you wrap up the Lander Invite, your first 4 games of the regular season, with a defeat to Powell in the first game of our doubleheader here. That's a good team. You guys kept it close throughout. Never really led in the game, and Powell just edged out a little bit of an advantage, I think, there at the end of the game. But you kept it close, and we're in the game pretty much start to finish.
Yeah, I think we had one point where we took the lead. I think it was in the third quarter, maybe early in the fourth quarter. And we were just a little fatigued. But I thought they played really, really hard the whole entire tournament, even today. But, I mean, it really just came down to that number 2, the Hernandez girl, knocked down a bunch of really big free throws there at the end. And that's kind of what it takes to finish out games, and she did that.
You know, Daisy Goklish, especially in that first half, offensively kind of kept you guys in, was really impressed with her defense as well. Gave Hayden Goggles a chance to kind of get into the game and get going in the second half. It reminds me of your team a little bit last year. When you have dual scoring threats like that, someone can have a tough quarter or a tough half, and your teammates just lift you up.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to for us. I think we're a pretty team-oriented basketball, and we share the ball pretty well. I wish some of my other girls would get a little more aggressive sometimes, just to kind of take the load off of the other two. There's some times where they probably have wide-open shots that they need to take. They can all shoot. It's just maybe a little bit of a confidence thing right now, but they're going to get better at that, and we'll continue to play hard.
So I know you're collecting coaching points for Monday. What are some of your points of emphasis for practice after these first 4 games?
Well, I know it's not running. I know that we're good at that. I don't think we need to condition on Monday, especially with how hard we ran today and all weekend. But really, I think just coming down to a little bit of spacing on our offensive side would be good. And then, you know, I think defensively we're in a really good spot. We might have some things to work on. And then working on teams that switch screens against us, we haven't worked on that a ton. Just getting a little bit better reads on those. But I thought overall it was a pretty darn good weekend.
Yeah, I'd say so. 3-1 in your first 4 games. Successful Lander Invite. Who do you have coming up next?
So we have Burns, Wheatland, and Douglas.
Okay. Before the Christmas break?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll look forward to that. Coach, appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you.
National anthem here at Lander Valley High School ahead of Lander and Douglas with Game 1 for the Lander Lady Tigers of the Lander Classic. This has been the Porter's Tailgate Show, brought to you by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton, your one-stop shop for grills, spas, stoves, pellets, and more. Porter's is a proud supporter of Fremont County athletes. Getting our starting lineups on the floor for Douglas, first of all. And we'll catch up with those. Starters for the Douglas Lady Bearcats, who have 7 seniors on their roster, are all seniors. They are Bailey Wrights, Kale Starkey, Lauren Olson, Jaden Meyer, and Molly Parker. Starters for head coach Drew Powell's Lander Lady Tigers, Daisy Goklish, a sophomore, co-point guard this year for the Lady Tigers. Kendall McFadden, a senior. Zoe Mulholland wears number 13. Hayden Goggles, the other half of that co-point guard battery, a junior. And Dagan Reinhardt wearing number 34. Thanks for tuning into the Porter's Tailgate Show, and we are just about ready for action from Lander Valley High School. Something's got to give here in what should be a pretty entertaining basketball game tonight, as the Lander ladies are 3-1 to start the year after tournament play last weekend. Douglas is 3-0. Lander looking to hand the Lady Bearcats their first loss of the season. Lander looking to bounce back from a loss to Powell, and we are underway with the tip one back to the Lady Bearcats. Quickly fed to Lauren Olson in the corner for 3, who hits one. And all of a sudden, Douglas, just like that, up 3-0. Lander ladies across the timeline, starting their offense left with only 15 seconds gone by here in the first quarter. Already Douglas 3 and Lander nothing. Goggles turning from the right elbow down the lane. That's no good. Rebound pulled away by Douglas. And the Lady Bearcats start their offense, sit first in transition, pull it back. Lauren Olson took a bomb of a 3. Rebound kick back out to Douglas. That is no good. Lady Bearcats in the state tournament last season. There's a 3 from Bailey Wright that is no good for Douglas. Second consecutive defensive rebound off of a Douglas miss. That's got to stop in a hurry if Lander wants to stay in this game with a high-powered offense for the Douglas Bearcats. But jump ball on the third rebound attempt is turned over back to the Lander Tigers. Lander across the timeline, starting their offense with Goggles. Goggles driving right, just beyond the right elbow, then picks up her dribble after about 4. Feed to the right corner. This is Kendall McFadden. Now Lander works their offense to the left wing. Reinhardt had a look in the corner. Perhaps wisely passed that up. Clock continues to roll, under 6:40 to go in the first quarter. Just 3-0 Douglas. First game for Lander of their second hosted tournament in a row to open up the regular season. Worked out fine for the Tigers in their first weekend. Here's a 3 from the left edge. That's no good. Reinhardt a little bit too strong in the rebound. Will stay with the Lander Tigers. 6:23 to go in the first, 3-0 Douglas. Lander hosting a boys and girls joint invite last weekend. This weekend at the Lander Classic, only a girls tournament, as that ball is knocked out of bounds on the inbound by Douglas. Stays with Lander. Like Daisy Goklish doing the inbounding for the Tigers. Daisy at a 4-second count gets the ball in to McFadden. Left edge. There's a 3 from Daisy Goklish. Hayden Goggles with a 3 for the Lander Tigers. First 3 points of the game for the Lander ladies. Daisy went the entire first half. Hayden went the entire first half in the loss against Powell without scoring, and gets a quick 3 to open up scoring for the Tigers here on the following weekend. Ensuing offensive possession for Douglas results in a layup that is pushed out to Goklish. Daisy picks up her dribble, right edge. Ball is going to be tipped out of bounds. I think actually Reinhardt may have stepped on the line. Tough to tell from here, but a turnover for Lander nonetheless. So all tied up at 3, 5:42 to go in the first quarter. As Douglas with Jaden Meyer works on the left edge. Now back up top. Swung right. Right elbow shot. Missed everything, and that'll be back to Lander. Tigers, 5.5 to go in the first quarter with the ball back. A little bit of pressure on the inbound as Goklish able to clear the timeline. She's going to want to go coast to coast with a right-handed scoop. That is no good, and a foul on the defensive rebound by Lauren Olson for Douglas.
Tiger foul, number 34, Dagan Reinhardt.
Dagan Reinhardt's first. That'll be the first foul for either team here with 5:20 to go in the first quarter. Following the Lander foul, Douglas across the timeline with Bailey Wright. Right side to Jaden Meyer. Meyer right elbow now. Euro step in the lane. That's no good and stolen away. McFadden looking for some help after she's able to turn the ball over. Get some assistance from Goklish across the timeline. Daisy with a crossover at the top of the key. Feed out to the left elbow. That's no good. Rebound's going to go out of bounds. Officials sort that out. That's going to be off of Jaden Meyer from Douglas. So Lander basketball with 4:53 to go. All tied up at 3. Inbound to Daisy. Goklish guarded closely there. Too closely, as it turns out. Jaden Meyer picks up her first personal foul. First foul of the game on Douglas. So 1 each on team fouls. Early going, tied 1-1 in team fouls. Tied 3-3 on the scoreboard. 4:47 to go. Lander hosting Douglas. As Daisy starts the offense, the near steal. But possession retained by Lander. Here's a 3 from Goklish, top of the key. That's no good. Rebounds pulled down by Kale Starkey. Starkey in transition, trying to push the ball ahead to Jaden Meyer. Foul before a travel. They'll say that's a shooting foul. Couple of free throws coming up for the Lady Bearcats. That'll be McFadden's first. Team foul number 2. Just about halfway through the first quarter on the Tigers. It'll be Jaden Meyer from the free throw line for the Lady Bearcats. First one, front, back, and out. Lucky break on the free throw from Lander, so all tied up at 3. Pending the second free throw from Jaden Meyer. Meyer's second free throw is good. Douglas with a 1-point advantage over the Lander Lady Tigers. Be Goklish across the timeline, relatively uncovered. Now gives it to McFadden on her right. Weave up to the top to Reinhardt. She dives in. Feed left elbow is Goklish. Goklish is tied up. Possession arrow should be to Lander. Nope, it's back to Douglas. Official thought the same thing I did initially, and they changed the call after consulting the scorer's table. So 4:14 to go. Douglas with the ball and up by 1. First quarter action from the Lander Classic. Girls basketball all weekend just prior to the Christmas break here from Lander Valley High School as Bailey Wright picks up her dribble for Douglas. Lauren Olson top of the key. Lauren looking for a screen. That's managed by Lander. And so the 3 from that right wing is no good. Here's a 3 from Jaden Meyer off the long rebound. Jaden Meyer able to hit. Now a 4-point Douglas Bearcat advantage. Do not let Douglas get on any kind of an offensive rhythm that's unanswered by you. The team that was in the state tournament last year, 7 returning seniors, and just like that, I think Goklish traveled on the ensuing Lander possession, so right back to Lander. Or to Douglas, rather. No pressure full court from head coach Drew Powell for Lander yet. Would expect to see that at some point once he's comfortable with his team's set defense. Molly Parker with the ball for Douglas, up by 4. 3.5 to go. Parker driving in. Off the glass at a tough angle. Good defense. Rebounded by Lander in transition. Push ahead to Goggles. Goggles, right wing. Goggles is going to be called with the offensive foul. She was driving in from the right side, trying to create just a little bit separation, which is not unusual, but she extended that offhand into the defender and got caught. So that'll be Hayden's first foul. Let's get a sub into the game for the first time, Paisley Hollingshead. Paisley replacing Zoe Mulholland. Douglas with the ball, up by 4, 3:08 to go. Bailey Wright across the timeline, looking for a screen, instead keeps going left. Bailey ends up picking up her dribble, back to the top of the key to Starkey. Starkey feeds to her right. Leah Ewing into the game for the Bearcats. She gives it up left. Here's a drive, top of the key. Lauren Olson looking for a backdoor from Jaden Meyer. Jaden Meyer's shot is no good. Rebound pulled in by Hollingshead briefly, but she lost the handle. Behind the back dribble on the ensuing possession then for Douglas. Lauren Olson at the left elbow. After picking it up, had it knocked away. Now she'll skip to the right wing. Douglas thought about that for a minute. Now back it out. A 4-point lead for the Lady Bearcats, up by 4. Here's a floater from the left side of the lane. Lauren Olson missed that. Lander, a bit of an offensive scoring drought over the last few minutes here in the first quarter. Hayden Goggles looking to fix that as she starts the offense for the Lady Tigers. Hayden gives, gets back, left block. She is fouled. A couple of free throws coming up for Hayden Goggles. 2:09 remaining in the first quarter. A couple of much-needed free throws. Were they to be converted into points upcoming for the Lander ladies? Hayden with the only 3 points of the game so far for Lander. First free throw is up and good, so Lander cuts the lead down to 3. Officials convening at the free throw line in front of Hayden Goggles after the first made free throw. See what this is about. Can't imagine what they're talking about with the exception of maybe a lane violation in the first free throw, but nothing comes from it except for a sub from Douglas. Andrea Lepe will come to the game for the Lady Bearcats. 7 seniors on this Douglas roster. Andrea Lepe, one of 2 who is not in the starting 5. All 5 starters for Douglas are seniors. Second free throw from Hayden Goggles, who has all 5 of Lander's points now, is up and good. Lady Tigers trail by 2. 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Olsen from the right block gives it back for a 3 from the right wing. That's no good. Offensive rebound initially pulled down for Douglas by Starkey, but that's stolen away. So here comes Lander in transition with Goklish. Goklish feeding to her right. That is no good. 3 from the right wing. Missed, but the offensive rebound is corralled by Goklish. That may have been Goggles. Now at the left elbow, possession briefly lost. Fed to the left wing as the possession is saved for Lander. Floater on the baseline's no good. And Douglas pushes in transition. Lauren Olson for the Lady Bearcats now pulls things back. Top of the key with 1:17 to go. And a foul is going to be called with some aggressive defense, good defense, but aggressive defense from Hayden Goggles. Hayden's going to have a seat, having started this game and played the entire first 6 minutes and 43 seconds of this game. I like that from Hayden Goggles. She's an aggressive player anyway. She now has 2 personal fouls, so she'll have to sit. But you do have to see where this set of officials in any given game is going to draw their line in your set defense. So how aggressive can you be? Figure out what that line is, and then you know how to adjust as a defender. 3 on the inbound for Douglas is no good. Minute mark of the first quarter is coming up. 7-5. Douglas Lady Bearcats on top of Lander in the first game of the Lander Classic as McFadden gives it to Hollingshead. Hollingshead driving left side, clean block there on the entry. And the turnover finds its way to Lauren Olson, who pulls up just inside the free throw line for a floater, and that's good for Douglas. Lady Bearcats on top by 4, 9-5 with 39 seconds remaining. Lander across the timeline with Brianna Lincoln. This is the first we've seen of Lincoln this season. Appears to be in at that 2 guard, perhaps as a primarily ball handler for Lander. See how that plays out with already a co-point guard situation. Here comes Powell in transition with a floater that is good, and free transition points for the Lady Bearcats as 8 seconds remain as Lander crosses the timeline. Not sure they're aware of that, and actually Goklish with a miscommunication is going to throw the ball out of bounds. So 3.4 seconds remaining. Surprised you don't see any pressure here, as Douglas is going to have time to cross the timeline and at least heave a 3. That's going to be Olsen doing that. Lauren Olsen from 8 feet beyond the 3-point line hits a 3 as the first quarter clock expires. Douglas on top of Lander 14-5. Back after this on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
I'm John Shade. your Lander Edward Jones financial advisor. We're all about financial investments, but we also value the investments of time, patience, and encouragement of our young athletes that they receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. That's why I, John Shade with Edward Jones, is a proud sponsor of Lander Tigers and University of Wyoming on this station, 1330 KOVE. Call me today or visit edwardjones.com for all your investment needs. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Northside Body Shop in Lander is proud to support sports and student athletes this season. Northside Body Shop is a staple in the Lander community and is primarily engaged in auto body, paint, and interior repair and maintenance. If you hit a deer or have a vehicle accident, Northside will get your repairs handled and accept all forms of insurance. Javi and the crew got you covered. At Northside Body Shop, 323 North 2nd Street, Lander.
Your home for Lander Tiger basketball all season long. KOVE Radio, 1330 AM and 107.7 FM.
Lady Tigers trailing 14-5 after one against Douglas. Foul on the inbound. Lander with the basketball. This will be a Lady Bearcat foul. Douglas officially the home team on the score sheet, wearing their white jerseys. Lander with their black on greens, but whole weekend's going to be hosted here in Lander, so it's only a technicality, as following the foul, that'll be the first foul of the game against Lander's Brianna Lincoln. First foul of the quarter either way. Douglas with the basketball. Now to Jaden Meyer. Jaden pulls up from mid-range. Jaden Meyer for two. Don't let the Lady Bearcats get going offensively when unanswered, is what I would say. This is a high-powered offense that you can keep pace with and force mistakes against, having seen them in the state tournament last season, the Lady Bearcats, but don't expect to go on any 2 or 3 minute scoring droughts and stay with Douglas, and we've seen that so far. 11-point Lady Bearcat advantage as Lander runs their offense. First possession for them, full set possession anyway, in the second quarter. Up to Lincoln at the top of the key. Lincoln with a beautiful backdoor cut. That is Daisy Goklish, who is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line after this. Cutting into the Douglas deficit, getting it back to single digits. 16-7 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Brianna Lincoln with a big close to her time in the game. Two other Lander players will be subbed out. Hollingshead is out of the game. Looks like Mulholland is back out as well. As a free throw bonus coming from Goklish. That is no good. Back iron. Rebound is pulled down by Molly Parker for Douglas. Cross the timeline. Lady Bearcats still up by 9. 6:52 to go in the first half. Free throw line and into the lane is Olsen. She kicks it out. Now back down, right block. And that's right. 4-2 for the Lady Bearcats. Goggles driving in. Left hand, no good. Good aggressive play from Hayden Goggles. Couldn't get it to go. Hayden with 5 of Lander's 7 points on the game. Now the inverse of what we saw last weekend is Douglas with the entry pass to Kale Starkey. Quickly triple team down there on the left block. And that last Powell loss, Daisy Goklish had all the points almost literally in the first half. And it took Hayden Goggles until the second half to get going. This time the inverse, 5 points for Hayden. Daisy does have a couple in the first half. Floater on the inbound from Parker is no good for Douglas. And a drop step in the lane on the follow-up is up and good. So Douglas extends their lead to 20-7. Here comes Lander in transition. Think that's Hollingshead on the baseline. And a timeout will be called by Douglas. First timeout taken by either team.
30-second timeout.
Gives us a chance to remind you that Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton is your one-stop shop for grills, spas, stoves, pellets, and more. Porter's a proud supporter of Fremont County athletes. Also want to thank Myers Gambles on Main Street right here in Lander. Excited to cheer on our student athletes. Gambles has winning deals. Remember, delivery is free within 30 miles of the store. That does include Riverton, so turn around and shop in town. Would have been the last day of school for Lander Valley High School students today before the Christmas break. Basketball team on the girls' side will have a couple of games here in the building before the Christmas break, and then it's back full week of January. Getting to the regular season schedule in earnest, and then the conference schedule later in January and February, leading up to regionals, which also this year will be in Lander. Out of the timeout, ball is tipped away with a lot of contact that results in no whistle either way. Just going to be an inbounds to Douglas. And that was one of those contacts. I think that was Goklish down there. No, that was Goggles who was involved for Lander. There's so much contact both ways. You got to call something, but apparently not, as Douglas will inbound to Jaden Meyer. Left elbow turnaround, Lauren Olson. That's no good. Rebound is pulled down by Lander. Desperate need of points to close this gap, trailing by 13 to Douglas. Now at top of the key to Kendall McFadden. McFadden with a bounce pass that was tied up. Possession arrow is back to the Lander Tigers. 5:26 to go. It's not a whole lot of rhythm. Douglas has done a great job in keeping up with Lander's transition in the game so far. Stops and starts for the Lady Tigers, which normally you can get away with, but not playing against a Douglas team like this, as Reinhardt drives in immediately, double team. Now there's 3 white jerseys down there as Reinhardt wants to go up from the low block. That's no good. Pulled away by Bailey Wright, who feeds for Douglas to Jaden Meyer. Meyer, 3-point line, left side, floats from the left side with the right hand. That's no good. The follow is good, though. Douglas starting to pull away here in the first half. Lander just on a scoring drought. It's pretty much as simple as that. Got to get some points on the board. Offense not clicking. But here's a floater on the baseline from Hayden Goggles. She has 7 of Lander's 9 in the first half. Hayden showing up for this Friday night game. Douglas looking to answer for 3 from the corner. That's no good. And here's an opportunity for the Tigers to close the gap, trailing 22-9. Cross the timeline. Quick foul is called on Jaden Meyer. 4:33 to go in the first half. Oh boy, they called an offensive foul there, and I did not see it. I did not see it, but that was the call. Was on the far side of the floor from us, but they'll call Hayden Goggles, who was ISO just across the timeline, the point guard. And there was some contact there. Most of that appeared to be initiated by the defense. But tough break, especially because that's number 3 for Hayden Goggles. So Goggles having to sit with her 3rd, see if she comes back at all in this first half, and she represents 7 of Lander's 9 points on the night. When it rains, it pours for the Lady Tigers, but somebody else in green has to step up as Douglas starts their offense from the right side. Foul counted and 1. I think they'll get Goklish on the foul as Olsen finishes.
Basket is good. Lauren will shoot 1. Tiger foul number 2, Kendall McFadden.
Oh, they got McFadden on the foul, so that's her second. 24-9 following the made bucket, pending the free throw for Douglas. 4:22 to go in the first half. Underplaying Lander team so far in the first half, as the free throw is up and good, which is not to take anything away from this Lady Bearcats team that ended up in the state tournament last year and is a lot of fun to watch. But they lack, for what they have in depth, they lack height, they lack size. Lander unable to take advantage of that. Shot from mid-range is no good. 1 and done for the Tigers. In transition, full court pass to Bailey Wright. Can't have that, and Douglas adds on 27-9. Drew Powell getting Hollingshead back into the game at the next whistle. 1 and done again for the Tigers in transition on the layup. Here is Kale Starkley for Douglas. That is up and good. 4 points in 23 seconds. And a timeout, if ever one was needed for the Lander Tigers, is taken by head coach Drew Powell.
30-second timeout.
It'll be a full timeout, so we will step aside. Back right after this on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
To Haskell Furniture and Flooring, now open in Riverton. Discover a huge variety of top brands like Ashley, Tempur-Pedic, Serta, Lazy Boy, and more. Our showroom is filled with stylish and comfortable furniture for every room. Come visit us at 2210 North Federal and transform your home today. Explore the exceptional quality and unbeatable prices we offer. Visit HaskellFurnitureandFlooring.com to learn more and start living in style.
Northside Body Shop in Lander is proud to support sports and student athletes this season. Northside Body Shop is a staple in the Lander community and is primarily engaged in auto body, paint, and interior repair and maintenance. If you hit a deer or have a vehicle accident, Northside will get your repairs handled and accept all forms of insurance. Javi and the crew got you covered at Northside Body Shop, 323 North 2nd Street, Lander.
Watch the Tigers and Lady Tigers varsity games all season on County 10's YouTube channel.
Late second quarter action here from Lander Valley High School. Lady Tigers in trouble against the Douglas Bearcats early, 29-9 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard as Lander, following a timeout from head coach Drew Powell, inbounds. Needs some offense with Brianna Lincoln into the game once again. Paisley Hollingshead having checked in. She'll float one in the lane. That's no good. Lander can't buy a bucket with money or love or anything else. Got to break this scoring drought as Lander able to save the possession following the Hollingshead miss. This is Lincoln, Brianna Lincoln, spin move, right elbow, floats one up at a tough angle that's no good. Here comes Douglas in transition with Bailey Wright, giving to her right. Here's a floater in the lane. That is no good after a couple of bounces. And the rebound's going to be tied up. Possession arrow is back to Douglas. It's one of those nights for Lander, you just can't put your finger on it exactly, but at the end of the day, it's offensive production and a little bit of defense in transition, I would say, here in the first half. Still plenty of basketball left, 29-9 with 2:53 to go. As a three off the inbound from Douglas is up and good from Lauren Olson, 32-9. Great news from Douglas. The Lander boys defeated Wheatlands, ranked 5th in the state. That was a 5-point victory, I think, down there in Douglas. So Lander boys with a big win tonight. Lander girls back home trying to add on to their win total. And Deegan Reinhardt's on the score sheet for the first time with a nice move on the right block. First points for the Tigers in way too long, though. 32-11 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Maybe that'll get something going as Douglas drives in from the left side with Macy Engel. And a foul is called on Zoe Mulholland. That's the last foul to give for the Lady Tigers in the first half. Still 2:13 to go in the second quarter clock. Zoe Mulholland's first. Inbound is from Lauren Olson for the Lady Bearcats. Top of the key left side, Bailey Wright. Bailey skips it right side for a three. That is no good. Rebound is pulled down by Reinhardt. Lincoln in transition to Hollingshead. Hollingshead gets to McFadden. That is knocked out of bounds. As it turns out, off of Kendall McFadden, so right back to Douglas. 2-minute mark of the first half, 32-11 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Not an indicative first half of basketball for this Landers girls team, as Douglas works their half-court set offense with a three from Lauren Olson. That's no good. What's amazing is how many shots Douglas has actually missed, which is a scary thought. They're a potent offense. Here's Bailey Wright coming in from the right block following the missed three, and Douglas is up 34-11 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Brianna Lincoln into the game, lost the handle, looking for help. Bounce pass is stolen away by Lauren Olson. Lauren Olson in transition, does not have numbers. Spins anyway, and a block is going to be called. That's against Lincoln. Brianna Lincoln had the right idea. Didn't have enough time to pull it off, though. Trying to flop for a foul. Didn't get her feet set in time, and that's going to end up being a bonus free throw situation for Douglas with 1:16 remaining in the first quarter. Here's Lauren Olson's first free throw. That is up and good. Douglas' lead is now 14 with 1:16 remaining in the first half on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Glad to have you with us. Full tournament schedule here from the Lander Classic. All girls this weekend here in Lander. 10 o'clock game tomorrow. And then a afternoon session, late afternoon. 4:30 scheduled tip-off as the second free throw was up and good for Douglas as well. So I'll have all those games right here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com. Daisy Goklish lost the handle behind the back. Possession briefly saved by Reinhardt. Diggin driving in. gives it up to Daisy Goklish for three, and Daisy with a three that is much needed for Lander. Obviously, the Tigers needing all the points they can get. It's 7 for Goggles, 5 for Goklish. Reinhardt has 2, and that's been the offense for Lander. Uncharacteristic score sheet for the Lady Tigers. Nice right hand from the left side from Jaden Meyer, who puts up a bucket for 2 on the ensuing possession. Quick answer, though, from Goklish. Goklish with a runner in the lane from the left side adds 2 for the green team. 25 seconds remaining. Lepe into the game for Douglas. Kicks it out. Now the ball works back left to Macy Engel. Macy pulls up from the left elbow, and that one is good. 40-16. 8 seconds remaining. Goklish across the timeline. Pulls it up with 5. Goklish with a bomb that's no good, and that will represent the end of the first half. Douglas Lady Bearcats showing exactly how good they are this year. Lander uncharacteristic offensive first half. Come back for the Why Not Buckle Up for Life halftime show and what first half stats we do have from the Lady Tigers. Coming up next here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
To Hampton Inn and Suites, your home away from home in Riverton. Enjoy top-notch amenities like our indoor pool, hot tub, and fitness center. Start your day with our complimentary breakfast. Stay connected with free Wi-Fi. Relax in one of our 89 beautifully furnished rooms. The Hampton Inn and Suites is proud to support the Riverton Athletics program and being a part of the Riverton High School Booster Club. We want to wish all student athletes the best this coming season and look forward to being a part of your success.
Get winter ready with Overhead Door. Don't let the cold in. It's time to prepare your garage door for winter. We'll give you safety, savings, and peace of mind. Our experts ensure your garage door is winter-proof with quality service and repairs. Trust the pros. Schedule your appointment today. Call 307-856-2210 or visit the website at overheaddoorriverton.com.
Watch today's games on the County here, KOVE Radio.
Welcome back to Lander Valley High School. YDOT Buckle Up for Life halftime show brought to you by YDOT, reminding you seatbelts save lives. Buckle up so you can stay in the game every time, every ride. Staying in the game is exactly what the Lander Valley Lady Tigers are looking to do in the second half with a ton of work to do. Douglas on top of Lander, 40-16. In Lander's first game of the Lander Classic. Scott Fuller back with you here on 1330 KOVE and online at County10.com. Lander with a 3-1 start to the regular season. Their sole loss of the year so far prior to this weekend. Powell, which came in the very last game of the Lander Invite, which was a combined boys and girls tournament here at LBHS last weekend, but totally different Lander team after this week, at least coming out of the gates against Douglas. Couldn't get any kind of offense going, only 3 Lander Tigers on the score sheet. And Douglas, if you can believe it, left plenty of points on the floor and still lead Lander 40-16. This is a very good team, and both the Lander boys and the girls have run up against solid competition in the early season in tournament play, which I think both coaches would agree, and I must say I do too, that getting that stiff competition out of the way early, never a bad idea, especially if you have a well-constructed team with a relatively good head on your shoulders and can realize this is where we have to be. This is the team that we have to emulate eventually as we get toward our goals as a team. But these teams are constructed very differently. Not necessarily in terms of size, but certainly in terms of depth, with Douglas starting all 5 seniors. 2 of those seniors additionally will sit on the bench. Lander rosters 2 seniors on the entire team. But Douglas, obviously, with their pedigree over recent seasons on the girls' basketball side, with an appearance in Casper at the state tournament last season, where they played great ball, and Lander trying to make it to mid-March basketball in Casper at that particular tournament. But good news for both sides. Prior to that first half, which is probably one of the more disappointing halves of the Lander girls so far this season, Lander is 3-1 on the season. And over on the boys' side, after going 2-2 in their tournament last weekend, they just defeated Wheatland down in Douglas to improve to 3-2 on the season. Would fully expect this margin to narrow quite a bit. Question is, how hot can Lander get, and how soon can they start scoring some points and putting up a little bit of defense in that second half to narrow this deficit quite a bit, I would say. So tough mountain to climb, 40-16. We'll come back on the Y. Buckle Up for Life halftime show after this break with individual stats and get you ready for half number 2 from Lander. The first game for the Lady Tigers of the Lander Classic here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
Gambles is your one-stop shop for furniture, mattresses, and appliances in Lander, Wyoming. We have an unbeatable selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, and dining room. Plus, we have the latest trends in home furnishings. Our mattresses are comfortable and affordable, and our appliances are built to last. Whether you're looking for a new TV, sofa, or refrigerator, we have the perfect finish, style, and function for your home. Visit us at 420 Main Street in Lander, or check out our website, landergambles.com. Today.
Welcome to Bailey Tire Pros, your local tire and auto repair specialists in Riverton and Lander. Say no to endless online tire listings and experience the convenience of local service. With unbeatable prices and top quality tires, we're here to change the game. Quality service and expert staff ensure you always get the right fit for your car. Choose local. Choose Bailey Tire Pros, where your satisfaction hits the road.
Porter's Mountain View Supply, your local experts in fire and water. We got everything you need for new installs to accessories, and don't forget our great selection of stoves, grills, and spas. We've been serving Wyoming for over 40 years, so you know you can trust us for quality products and expert service. Visit portersmvs.com or stop by our Riverton or Casper locations today. Porter's Mountain View Supply, located on 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton.
Welcome to Fremont Chevrolet GMC Riverton, where we exceed your expectations and deliver the best service possible. Located on Federal in Riverton, we're here to make local car shopping fun again. Explore our wide selection of new and used Chevrolet and GMC vehicles. As truck and trailering experts, we offer a variety of options tailored to your needs. Experience exceptional customer service and competitive prices. Visit our website at FremontChevyGMCRiverton.com to find your next vehicle today.
Perfect Power is a proud supporter of athletics and student athletes all across Fremont County. Perfect Power provides services for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. Darren Hubble, owner and master electrician, has over 30 years of electrical experience. Darren's trustworthy team of professionals can get the job done right. Perfect Power, serving Fremont County and surrounding areas. Stop into 1320 West Main Street, Lander, or give them a call at 307-332-7184.
Wyoming Catholic College is a unique institution that offers an immersion in the Western tradition, the beauty and challenges of the wilderness, and the treasures of the Catholic spiritual heritage. Our mission is to provide a unique educational experience that nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. We are proud of our alumni success stories and the learning opportunities we offer through our academic outreach program. Come and explore our campus in Lander, Wyoming.
This County 10 Sports broadcast made possible by Myers Gambles, Central Bank and Trust, Wyoming Catholic College, Elevate Rehab, Goddard Construction, Bailey Tire and Auto Services, Haskell's Furniture and Flooring, Wyo Glass, Red & Kane and Associates, Remax, the Wyoming Department of Transportation, State Farm Agent Tyler Watson, Eyes on Fremont, Hampton Inn and Suites, Maven, Edward Jones, John Shade, Sage West, Boyle Electric, Perfect Power, Baldwin Creek Rental Service, Northside Auto Body Glass, Fremont Chevrolet, and the Fremont County Prevention Program.
Proud to support Lander Valley High School. We are KOVE.
Welcome back to Lander Valley High School. Half number 2 of Lander and Douglas just about ready to get going in front of us. Glad you're with us on this Friday before Christmas on 1330 KOVE and County10.com. YDOT Buckle Up for Life halftime show just about wrapping up. Good reminder, though, from YDOT. Seatbelts save lives. Buckle up so you can stay in the game every time, every ride. Individual scoring for the Lander Tigers, pretty cut and dry. It was Daisy Goklish, the sophomore, with 7. Hayden Goggles, her junior co-point guard, with 7. And Dagan Reinhardt had 2. And that represents all 16 points for the Lander Tigers, which was not enough in the first half to keep pace with Douglas. Very good, very deep, very experienced Lady Bearcats team, up 40-16 on the Lander Lady Tigers. So with that, we're ready to start the second half. Fresh 8 minutes on the clock as Lander will inbound from the side in front of the home crowd. Lander into Goggles. Goggles misses on a tough angle from down low on the baseline. It looked like Jaden Meyer may have dragged that pivot foot, but no call. So Douglas, after a one and done from the Lady Tigers, starts their offensive possession now with Jaden Meyer on the left side. She gives to her left. Back up top of the key to Bailey Wright. Wright gets to Olsen. Lauren Olsen lost the handle. Now she's double teamed. Lander backs off in the zone. Here's a 3 from Wright. That is offensive rebounded. I think that's Molly Parker down low. It was. Molly pulling down a big offensive board for Douglas. Now Parker's going to try to add the 3. That was too short. The rebound is pulled down. Yeah, that was out of bounds. That was out of bounds. Zoe Mulholland didn't see it, but I did from here. I thought maybe the official missed it. Zoe was in there to get the rebound, and she was a good 6 inches out of bounds with her right foot. So a turnover after a couple of missed shots for Douglas. Lander needed that possession. Instead, back to the Lady Bearcats. Inbound to Molly Parker, left elbow. That's may have been tipped. Starkey with a follow. That's no good. So no harm and no foul, so to speak, for the Lady Tigers. But they do need some offensive points to come back against a very good Douglas team. McFadden driving baseline from the left side. Stepped out of bounds.
Out of bounds, Lady Bearcat pass.
Second turnover for the Lander Tigers. Second out of bounds infraction, giving the ball back to Douglas. 6:53 to go in the third quarter on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. It's all Lady Bearcats over Lander, 40-16. Jordan Meyer crossing over as Douglas starts their offense on the left side. Give to Olsen. Olsen, the Euro step the right elbow. She is fouled. Couple of free throws are on the way for Lauren Olsen. Adding to that first half where Lander just couldn't catch a break. First foul of the second half is a shooting foul for Lauren Olsen. First one is up and no good. Bounced a couple of times either side and fell out. Second free throw on the way from Olsen. That is no good. Front iron. Rebound pulled down by Mulholland. So here comes Lander in transition in desperate need of some points just to stay alive in this game, trailing 40-16. Goklish top of the key. Daisy gives to her left to Goggles. Goggles had the ball stolen away from her, and this will be an uncontested layup from Lauren Olsen at the other end.
Lauren Olsen.
42-16, Douglas on top of Lander. You have the feeling if this game were played again after this one, if these two teams played again after this one, things might be a little bit different for Lander. But another turnover and another layup from Jaden Meyer, and there's nothing else you can do except take a timeout if you are head coach Drew Powell, and that's what Lander will do. Perfect Power Electric in Lander supports our athletes on and off the field. Give Perfect Power a call today for all your electric needs, 332-7184. Also thanks to Wyoming Catholic College, proud to cheer on our local athletes. Your dedication on and off the court is admirable. Find them online at wyomingcatholic.edu. Would like to see a rematch between these two teams after this game. And it may not change the outcome, but this game would be a lot closer. And one difference between last weekend and this one to start the season with a Lander invite and the Lander Classic this weekend is Lander played 2 games on Thursday, a morning game and then an evening game. They won both of those to the Lady Tigers. That's also a school day, and it gets you kind of in rhythm a little bit. At the end of the Christmas week break on Friday, not to make excuses, but you wonder, something has to account for the flat tire that the Lander offense has right now. This is not the Lady Tigers team that we will see all season long. As Goklish on the entry pass, with a nice bounce pass down low to Reinhardt. She had that one clean on the right block. That one's no good as she puts up a shot from inside, but a tie-up on the ensuing rebound will go back to Douglas. So Molly Parker will inbound for Douglas. Have still not seen any full court pressure from Lander. Wouldn't expect that right now anyway, with the Tigers trailing 44-16 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Bailey Wright for Douglas, cross the timeline to Olson. Olson right wing, top of the key to Meyer. Meyer now works it left. Bailey Wright's over there. Leaves it to Lauren Olson. Lauren off a screen at the top. Lauren threw 3 green jerseys uncontested to the bucket. Way too easy for Lauren Olson, who is a great basketball player, as Douglas has a couple, but she blew by 3 green jerseys on her way to the bucket as that ball is knocked out of bounds on the ensuing Lander possession. Will remain with the Tigers. Goggles on the inbound with 5:07 remaining in the third. Tigers trailing by 30 points. Did not think I would be saying that in the third quarter of this game. And on the inbound, the layup from the left side is no good. Pushing in transition is Meyer for Douglas. Back out, up top for 3. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by Zoe Mulholland. Mulholland gets to McFadden. Kendall McFadden pulls up her dribble on the left wing. Entry pass inside. That one gets away from Lander as well. Reinhardt lost the handle and back to Douglas. 4:42 to go in the third quarter. Lady Bearcats with the basketball and in full control of this game. There's Lauren Olson from the right wing. Guarded one-on-one by Mulholland there. Off a screen, wide open 3 and good. Douglas 49, Lander 16. And Lander lost the possession with Goggles at the other ends. They're getting out of bounds call. Hayden Goggles asking for a foul. Didn't get the call. Also got away with a little bit of a shove under the basket in retaliation. Good no whistle there from the officials. But it ended up out of bounds back to Lander anyway with 4:15 remaining. Goggles on the inbound across the timeline. Goggles being forced left by her defender. She goes that way. Reinhardt, left wing. She's way too high for her comfort, so she gets it up to Goggles. Top of the key, driving in. That ball cleanly blocked. And now in transition to Lauren Olson. 1-on-3 for Douglas. No numbers, but a foul against Lander. Bit of frustration starting to settle in, especially on the defensive end for the Lander Tigers, just from the outcome of this game so far. You look up at the scoreboard, it's 49-16. Tough sometimes to maintain that mental discipline. There's a 3 on the inbound for Douglas that is no good. Rebound pulled down. That's good heads-up play by Lauren Olson for Douglas. Steal the ball, and she puts up a 3. Lauren Olson, I believe, is a 2,000-point scorer as of today for Douglas. She got those extra points she needed for the 2,000 career points earlier in this tournament. And you see a great example of why there. Defense into offense for Douglas that you could put on film and point to. Floater in the lane for Lander is no good. 1 and done again for the Lady Tigers. Ball briefly gets away, but Bailey Wright corrals it for Douglas. Wright needs some help as she gave it up, gives it up to Leah Ewing. That ball stolen away. Nice defensive play there by Daisy Goklish. Daisy with a crossover at the timeline. Now she's along the left side with a bounce pass to Goggles, who's at the top of the key. You know Hayden wants to shoot this. She does. No good back iron, but a very late whistle will get Hayden Goggles to the free throw line. Hayden and Daisy Goklish both with 7 points. This will be Lander's first points of the third quarter. And we are at 2:53 remaining. Goggles with a much better first half this game than on Saturday evening, as Hayden misses her first. Goggles very uncharacteristically scoreless against Powell. Came out of the gate pretty strong individually, I'd say. She has 7, tied with Daisy Goklish for the team high. And now, 8 points on the night. So Goggles this time around is Lander's leading scorer. Unfortunately for the Tigers, just not enough scoring to go around. 52-17. Douglas on top. Bailey Wright across the timeline. Kale Starkey now. Guarded by Reinhardt. Gives it up to her right. Bailey Wright with a Euro step. Pass down low. Left block. Nearly went out of bounds. It did go out of bounds. Back to Lander. 2.5 to go. 52-17. Douglas on top of the Lady Tigers. Not the way Lander envisioned their first game of the Lander Classic going. As a broadcaster, though, that only adds to your storylines. How does Lander respond tomorrow morning? They have a 10 a.m. game tomorrow. Entry pass for Lander down low. And a nice pump and drop on the left block from Hayden Goggles, who now has 10 points on the game. Lander to 19, but they trail Douglas 52-19 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3 answer is up and good. That's Andrea Lepe, senior for Douglas. 7 of those for the Lady Bearcats. 2 of them don't start, and she's one of them. Nice mid-range from the baseline. In response, though, from Paisley Hollingshead, her first 2 points of the game, and Lander trailing by 34. Douglas with 90 seconds remaining in the frame. That should be a travel. It is. Jayden Meyer falling forward, and sometimes as a ball handler, especially if you're a 2 or a 3 guard, if you go lower into the block than you're normally comfortable with and you get in some trouble with a double team or lose your footing, you find the nearest opposition body to lean into to try to draw a foul, and a good official will spot that and call a travel, because that's what it is, and the officials do spot that. So the ball back to Lander with 1:22 remaining. Kendall McFadden, top of the key for Lander, picks up her dribble. Looking for a back door there that wasn't there, and so she needs some help. Ball is out of bounds, back to Lander. Knocked out there by Bailey Wright. 1:13 remaining, Lander inbounding. Be 1:13 to go in the third quarter. Inbound from Lander, back to the timeline. That's Addie Rounds into the game. It is. She gives it up to her left. Ball is tipped away through the double team. Stolen by Lauren Olsen. Lauren with a bounce pass ahead. Ball's on the ground and now saved to Douglas. Ewing out right side to Engel. Engel gives it to her right for a 3. That's up and good from Leah Ewing. 58-21. Douglas on top of Lander on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. 40 seconds and counting. Reach-in foul called at the top of the key. As Daisy Goklish was trying to make something happen through a double team, so that's going to be team foul number 2 on Douglas, 2 apiece in this third quarter. Nobody in specific foul trouble. Neither team has been in foul trouble by quarter, and the only Tiger, I believe, who's in any kind of trouble is Goggles with 3. Here's a floater for Lander's Goklish in the lane. That's no good. Nice offensive rebound, and back to Hollingshead. Gets to her right, puts up a 3. That's no good. 16 seconds remaining. Here comes Douglas in transition with a bounce pass to Kendry Ewing. And a whistle and an offensive foul is called before the shot went up. See what they got for that. I didn't spot that one either, but that foul against Douglas is Leah Ewing. Sophomore's first of the game. 10 seconds in the quarter remaining for Lander. Across the timeline with 5. Driving all the way in, and now through a double team is Daisy Goklish with a nice end of the third quarter for the Lander Tigers, but LVHS trailing Douglas 58-23 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Back right after this on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
Welcome to Bailey Tire Pros, your local tire and auto repair specialists in Riverton and Lander. Say no to endless online tire listings and experience the convenience of local service. With unbeatable prices and top quality tires, we're here to change the game. Quality service and expert staff ensure you always get the right fit for your car. Choose local. Choose Bailey Tire Pros, where your satisfaction hits the road.
Wyoming Catholic College is a unique institution that offers an immersion in the Western tradition, the beauty and challenges of the wilderness, and the treasures of the Catholic spiritual heritage. Our mission is to provide a unique educational experience that nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. We are proud of our alumni success stories and the learning opportunities we offer through our academic outreach programs. Come and explore our campus in Lander, Wyoming.
Proud to support Lander Valley High School. We are KOVE.
Start of the fourth quarter from LVHS. The Lander Lady Tigers in their first game of the Lander Classic, trailing Douglas 58-23. You know what has been just all around, offensively especially, an unfortunate start to the tournament for Lander. Uncharacteristic number of few points and too many mistakes, as we just saw in the inbound. Lander turning the ball over back to Douglas with only 5 seconds off of the fourth quarter clock. Nothing against the Lady Bearcats. Very good basketball team, returning 7 seniors. Got to be among the most experienced in the state in terms of how many seniors they roster. All 5 of their starters are seniors. They bring in 2 off the bench. All 7 of those ladies could start on most teams in their class in the league, as Douglas runs their offense from the right side. The ball nearly got stuck at the top of the rim, but it does come down to Lander for initially a transition opportunity for Goggles. Instead, she'll pull it up and fling it to her right. So ball in the right wing for the Lady Tigers. Gets that one to Mulholland. Zoe for 3. That one's no good. Rebound fought for nicely down low by Goggles. She'll tie it up and back to, it's back to Douglas, as the arrow points back to White. 7:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. 58-23, Lander Valley trailing Douglas. 2 more games for these girls. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock start time, and I believe it's a 4:30 nightcap tomorrow as Lauren Olson leans in for Douglas, expanding the Lady Bearcats lead to 60-23. Lander running their set offense with a nice design backdoor screen there. I like that design with McFadden giving it to Reinhardt. A bounce pass, rather, to Reinhardt there on the block, but it got broken up by Douglas, so a foul is going to be called on Jaden Meyer. That's her 3rd for Douglas. Inbound is skipped to the left side, or the right side. Pull up after a couple of dribbles is Daisy Goklish, who is now in double figures herself with 11. Goklish with 11, Hayden Goggles with 10. Rest of the team combined 4 points for the Lander Tigers. Hollingshead and Reinhardt represent those additional points. Just not what you want to see, and the score sheet is indicative of kind of how off this game has been for Lander against, again, admittedly a very good Douglas team. Lauren Olson leans in for 2 for the Lady Bearcats. Kendall McFadden in transition decides to pull up with 6:11 remaining. Skip from left to right. Now at the top of the key, picking up the dribble is Goklish. Nice feed down low. And Deegan Reinhardt has her 2nd field goal of the game. Under 6 to go in the fourth quarter on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Lauren Olson looking for a screen, deciding which way she wants to go with that, near the right side top of the key. Now is at the left elbow, kicks it back up top to Molly Parker. Too far for Molly, so she gives it up and then throws a screen for a teammate. Diving inside, Bailey Wright with the left hand. Up and good. Lady Bearcats can score too many different ways from too many different places on the floor with that deep roster that they have. Running away from Lander with under 5.5 to go. Lander in transition. Ball ahead to Mulholland in the right corner. Now a pass from Goklish to her co-point guard Goggles on the left block is stolen away. Maddie Engel into the game. That's Jaden Meyer for Douglas. ISO drives right side and is fouled by Hayden Goggles. And make sure that she's okay.
Tiger foul number 14, Hayden Goggles.
Hayden's 4th. Less of a hard foul from Hayden Goggles against Jaden Meyer there, as just Jaden was at an angle in the air when she was contacted. She is up for Douglas and to the free throw line, so it looks like she's all right. Good news there. Free throw coming from Meyer. First one's no good, back iron. Goggles will sit with 4. Brianna Lincoln again dressing for the first time this season after 4 games, and her presence offensively is almost a third point guard, but definitely a good supplemental to both Goklish and Goggles, despite what you see on the scoreboard right now. Is going to be interesting to watch once this team is a little bit more balanced. In transition with Goklish, feeding ahead to Brianna Lincoln. Speaking of which, she gets it to fall and will go to the free throw line. Lincoln shooting a free throw.
Lady Bearcat foul, number 4, Kayla Starkey, second personal.
That was a great pass from Goklish, too. Goklish drawing all that attention about halfway into the lane, right dead center of the green paint, and a nice bounce pass to Brianna Lincoln, who missed the free throw. Offensive rebound is finally corralled by Meyer for Douglas. Jade Meyer, 4:45 to go in the fourth quarter on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. Douglas is going to win this basketball game, improving to 4-0 in the season. Lander's second loss twice in a row now in tournament play and tournament games hosted right here in Lander, but against Powell last weekend and against Douglas this weekend, nothing to be ashamed of either. Two very good teams as Lauren Olson drops a 3 from the top of the key. Transition nearly stolen away from Douglas. Reinhardt doing a good job to try to keep it alive for Lander, but eventually out of bounds back to Douglas. 4:16 on the fourth quarter clock on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard. And Douglas with the basketball. Bailey Wright, guarded by Lincoln. Wright driving in. Bailey with a floater. That is good with some contact. No call, but went anyway for Douglas, and the Lady Bearcats have hung 70 on Lander, looking to add on to it here with a turnover. Meyer, bounce pass to Olson. Olson with the right hand, that's good.
Lauren Olson.
Oh man, it's going to be interesting to see how far this Douglas team can go again this year. Should be no surprise, brought 7 seniors back. Reinhardt, left side now for Lander, 3.5 to go. Right side, and the ball thrown away to Lauren Olson. Lauren with a football pass ahead, and a transition layup is up and good from Jaden Meyer, and a timeout will be taken by Douglas. Well, you'll have to take my word for it if you're seeing the Lander ladies for the first time. This is a darn good basketball team and a fun one to watch. They're not quite at that level yet. This is Douglas team that has all kinds of state tournament experience. In the tourney last year, brought 7 seniors back. All 5 starters for Douglas are seniors. This is a team that you can play with, but you can't get in a hole because this is what happens when you do. Douglas, a super talented team in their own right, but Lander trying to make the best with what they have with a couple of seniors and a transition game that just never got going tonight. Transition defense that never got going. You look up and down the stat sheet, things have evened out just a little bit in the second half, but Goklish and Goggles are the only things that look normal numbers-wise. You got both of them in double figures, which you should see in every game that Lander wins this year, but there are combined 8 points from everybody else. That balance is just about right, but you need about 6 or 7 other Lander ladies on the score sheet, or at least 4 or 5, and most of them have to be close to double figures. When Lander's doing this right, they do end up with 3 girls in double-digit scoring, but it just was a avalanche from the beginning for Lander, and a hole that they were unable to dig out of. As the ball is inbound into Lander, they work their offense on the right side with a bounce pass inside. That is up and good from Paisley Hollingshead, who has her second field goal of the game. Bright spot for Lander as a sophomore last weekend. We talked about her quite a bit. 3 in transition from Douglas on the answer is no good, but the rebound is kicked back out to the Lady Bearcats, so they'll run their offense from up top with 2:37 remaining in the fourth quarter. Driving in is Bailey Wright with a floater. She's contacted, count it, and 1.
Bailey Wright.
Running clock with the margin being what it is, it's 74-31, so the clock will only stop on official timeouts or team timeouts. Should make for quick work of the remaining 2:10. Second free throw, or the bonus free throw, is no good. Offensive rebound is pulled down by Kale Starkey, but she traveled for Douglas. So the clock running at 2 minutes, Lander will inbound to Brianna Lincoln. Here's Lincoln across the timeline. Her left is Goklish. Into the corner for Kendall McFadden, who's wide open for three. That's no good. Offensive board is pulled down and put back up by Addie Round. So you can add another Tiger to the score sheet. That's Addie's first field goal of the game with 1:36 remaining. Crossover from Bailey Wright, isoing and then skipping. Ball tipped out of bounds nicely by Kendall McFadden, I believe, over there. So that'll be back to Douglas, but still a good defensive play to force Douglas to reset their offense from under the basket. Substitution does stop the clock with an official timeout now to discuss. We're almost close enough to be able to hear. I'm not sure what the official conversation is. This will be a technicality of some kind on the score sheet as they are asking for Douglas to hand over their book. Both benches will keep a backup of numbered rosters and, if very necessary, foul totals, but that's rarely needed. So they're sorting out a discrepancy of numbers, it looks like jersey numbers, for Douglas on the substitution. Hardly matters, as Douglas is up by 43. 43, rather. Douglas on the inbound. Against Lander's zone box. Three in the corner is no good. 1:17 to go. Here comes Lander in transition. That ball tipped out of bounds by Bailey Wright. Actually stays inbounds to Douglas, and so now here come the Bearcats in transition. Right hand from the left side is Leah Ewing, who adds on for the Bearcats. Brianna Lincoln driving in mid-range. She is fouled before she bounces it inside, and so team foul number 3. Clock still running here in the building with running time, given the scoring margin what it is. 43 seconds and counting as the ball is inbounded by Lander. Under the basket. Bounce pass finds its way to Lincoln. Brianna Lincoln is fouled for the second time in a row. But Douglas had one more to give. Clock continues to roll in running time with 25-24. And now an inbound from Lander. Lincoln was open initially. Instead, it's down low to McFadden. McFadden traveled. 8 seconds remaining. 7 with a running clock. And that's going to be the end of the game as Douglas inbounds. Douglas Bearcats are a darn good basketball team. At the same time, Lander didn't show up in the way that they usually do tonight, and that makes your final score 78-33. We'll come back and recap the scoring, get you ready for the rest of the Lander Classic. Preview that action. Coming up next on the Bailey Tire and Auto postgame show here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com.
Baldwin Creek Rental Service in Lander is a proud supporter of sports and athletics here in Fremont County. Baldwin Creek Rental Center understands how expensive specific equipment can be, especially if it's for a one-time use or event. That's why they offer tools and equipment rentals. For many years, Baldwin Creek has provided services to clients in Lander and the surrounding areas. From lawn and garden projects to graduation parties, they have the right equipment for you. Baldwin Creek Rental Center, located at 675 Baldwin Creek Road in Lander.
Introducing WyoGlass, your local glass experts. From windows to showers, we've got you covered. We're proud to be a part of the Lander community and a local sports sponsor. We're dedicated to serving all of Fremont County, so you can trust us with your residential and commercial windows and doors, auto glass, shower doors, and garage doors. For quality service and local support, choose WyoGlass. Visit us at wyoglassoflander.com or on Main Street in Lander today.
The Tigers play here. KOVE Radio.
Welcome back to Lander Valley High School for the Bailey Tire and Auto Postgame Show here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com, brought to you by Bailey Tire and Auto. Proud to support our local athletes, full-service tire and auto shops at 755 South Federal in Riverton and 1305 West Main in Lander. Pretty simple story to tell here from the first game of the Lander Classic. Lady Tigers with a bit of work to do going into the rest of the weekend, but easily the toughest competition the Lander ladies will face all weekend as well, as Douglas comes in with their 7 seniors following a state tournament appearance last year and takes care of Lander 78-33. Once again here on the Bailey Tire and Auto Postgame Show, recapping all scoring for you. Daisy Goklish led all Lander ladies with 11 points, sophomore co-point guard in double figures. So was Hayden Goggles, Hayden with 10 points on the night. In the second half, some of which was during running time, Lander ladies evened out the score sheet a little bit, with Deegan Reinhardt having a couple of field goals of 4 points. Paisley Hollingshead managed 4 points and a bucket apiece from Addie Rounds and Brianna Lincoln. And that's all the scoring that Lander was able to muster against, again, a very good Douglas Bearcat team. So it's going to be an early morning tomorrow for these ladies. The Lander girls take on Burns tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and then a scheduled 4 or perhaps 4:30, depending on how the tournament goes here in Lander tomorrow. Doubleheader, second game of the doubleheader, is Lander against Wheatland. So we'll have both of those games for you here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com to round out your Saturday before Christmas. Not at all the performance that Lander's girls were hoping for. Certainly high expectation to defeat a team like Douglas with their returning depth and just their ability to score from anywhere on the floor. But very uncharacteristic for Lander not to at least keep things within shouting distance. This was a track meet from Douglas from the first quarter, and they just took care of Lander tonight. So Lander is going to have a quick turnaround with a 10 a.m. game tomorrow morning that we'll also have for you here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com. And with that, I want to thank you all for watching as our final score one more time from Lander Valley High School on this Friday was Douglas 78, Lander 33. Thank Lincoln Fuller for his work on the camera tonight. Thanks to each and every one of you for allowing us into your cars or homes or wherever it is in Fremont County or the country, perhaps elsewhere, that you've tuned in tonight. Lander ladies with a couple of more games this weekend. We'll be right back here for you with coverage of Lander and Burns tomorrow morning after 9:30, after breakfast here on 1330 KOVE and County10.com. Have a great Friday night, everyone.